If you're watching this right now and you haven't hit the like button, Billy, get on it. Bug your brother. Tell him to do the same. The Jays lose the first series of the year since that opening series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Tough way to lose it, too. I know there's a lot of negativity out there about the Jays last night after that loss. And really, I mean, to just take a step back, and if you were to be told before seeing the games, before even knowing how any of this played out, Adam, the Jays are going to play 3 games against the Tampa Bay Rays, 3 games against the Houston Astros, and they're going to come out of that 3-3. How would you feel?
I know you're baiting me here. I'm ecstatic of that.
Right? Yes.
I mean, I infamously said about this time last week, like, buckle up. This could be an ugly one. You know, this has the potential for 1-5, 0-6 on this stretch, right? Rays, hottest team in baseball. Astros, defending champs. To get 3-3, I mean, after taking the first 2, obviously expectations were higher, right? Disappointed with how the last 4 went, but ultimately 3-3 against 2 of the top contenders for the World Series this year. We're
I think
right where we should be right now.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. Now, it does feel like more of a loss than it probably is, because there were a couple of games where this team kind of let up and it felt like they were winnable games. Yesterday being the shining example, because truly, top of the 8th inning in a 2-1 game, 2-0 game, I should say, but the Jays came all the way back, bases loaded, 2-1, nobody out. They'd managed to get through the bottom of the order. Now it's Springer, Bo, Vlad. And things are looking good. And Springer, my God, what an at-bat by that man. Takes it to a full count. Just hits a rocket up the third base line. Unfortunately, it was just right at Alec Bregman. But my goodness, the real dagger, man, was that Bo Bichette at bat. Did you watch that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it started 0-1 because of a pitch clock violation, which, by the way,
he wasn't ready to hit.
It was our second pitch clock violation of the game from an offensive standpoint. I don't know if you caught the first inning. Vladdy struck out on a pitch clock violation as well. So, I mean, if we're talking a team that's got to be focused on the details, we can't just be donating outs and strikes. Like, I mean, 4 balls, 3 strikes. So just from a simple math standpoint, a pitch clock violation against the hitter, so much more consequential than when it is against the pitcher, right? Like 0-1 versus 1-0, big difference. And then, of course, the next pitch, he's swinging. He's in an 0-2 hole now. All of a sudden, it really, it was frustrating to see. I don't know.
It was frustrating to see. No, that's the best way of putting it. And I know that Bo Bichette at bat really, it's the one that looking back, you're just like, oh, you got to be kidding. Punch. Like, it was such a gut punch. And then Vladdy couldn't get it done 3-2. And he had a decent at bat. You know, like, this is the thing. Every single one of these in a microscope aren't so bad. But when you start piling them up, right, giving away strikes here, a poor at bat here, just a mental letdown here. And that's how you lose to the Houston Astros.
First 2 weeks of the season, those have been sack flies to advance runners. Like, I don't know what's going on. The offense, here's the thing. I mean, we talk 3-3 against the Astros and the Rays.
When the offense shows up.
Our pitching was so good this week. I mean, I got 3 studs and a dud coming up that I got to do tomorrow. Not a lot of stud hitting this week.
No, but boy, a lot of stud pitching.
A lot of stud pitching. I mean, let's look at. Okay, so I was looking at last 7 days pitching numbers. Look, credit where credit's due. We poop on Trevor Richards a lot. 3 2/3 innings pitched this week. 0.55 for a whip. Opponent batting average 154. 0 earned runs. Good week for Trevor Richards.
I mean, let's give a little credit to. Sorry, finish your thought on Trevor Richards if you were going to expand their story.
No, that's it for Trevor Richards. I just want to look at the rest of the pitching staff because one of the big reasons I was concerned about us going 0-5 or 1-5, 0-6 this week, 2 Berrios starts. He pitched really well.
He was excellent last night.
Excellent
7
again
innings.
last
Anytime
night.
a guy can get out there and do 7 innings, like Jose Berrios still has a ways to go, but my goodness, the positivity out of these last 2 starts.
Berrios this week, 2.25 ERA, 0.67 for a whip. Gave us 12 innings pitched. Obviously if we're getting from Berrios, we're ecstatic, but that's best case scenario Berrios. And those are the outings where you go, oh yeah, that's why the team believes in him. Because he can do it, right? We just need to see it more often. Yusei Kikuchi as well gave us 6 innings pitched, 1.5 ERA, whip 0.83 as well. Chris Bassitt had a great outing as well.
Chris Bassitt, by the way, this is his last 3 starts, and I know that we all panicked after that first start of the year from him. There's all the question marks in the rotation about Kikuchi and Kikuchi and Berrios. So when Bassitt had that first start, all of us were just like, oh my God, do we have 3 question marks in this starting rotation, especially after you hear all of the hype about what Bassitt can bring to this team and why they went out and spent $60 million on the guy, and the fact he's a workhorse, and the fact that he's reliable, and the fact he's taking that ball every 5 days. And you know what? That's exactly what we've seen out of him. These last 3 starts, an ERA of 1.99, and that's in 18.1 innings pitched. Adam, he's taking the ball and he's going 6 innings every time. 4 earned runs in those 3 starts, 17 Ks, and this is from a dude who's not really a strikeout pitcher, and he's still right around that 1 K per 9. A whip of 1.05. So the starting pitching is getting it together.
Well, the back end of the starting pitching has sure come around. I don't expect a 2.2 ERA from Jose Berrios to maintain over the next 30 starts of his, but very good. Kevin Gossman got blown up in his first inning, but credit to him for giving us, pitching into the 5th, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. After 40 pitches and just a disgusting first inning.
So he really hunkered down and did help prevent an absolute decimation of our bullpen. So kudos there. Alek Manoah didn't have the best of weeks. 7 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings, a whip of nearly 3. We don't have to spend too much time on Alek Manoah. I want to stay positive with this. Berrios, Kikuchi, Bassitt all looked awesome. Trevor Richards probably bought himself some time,
especially with his Adam
week.
Simber's performance yesterday. But we are going to get into the bullpen. But you said,
can we talk hitters?
Go ahead. Yes.
So last
Whit
7
Merrifield.
Whit Merrifield leading the way, second base over the last 7 days, batting average 421, OPS batting 1,000.
I mean, he went 2 for 3 again yesterday, a big double to score that RBI. He has reached base in all 14 games that he has been in the lineup, which is an impressive little stat.
That's awesome. Speaking of the bats getting cold, though, I'm looking at Blue Jays players sorted by batting average. We've got Merrifield at 424. We got Bo Bichette at 407 because, of course. We've got Alejandro Kirk at 294. And then beyond that, it is ugly. Kevin Kiermaier.
Over the last week here?
This is over the last week. So Kevin Kiermaier, 4th best batting average on the team at 235.
Yeah,
Danny Jansen, 5th best, hitting 200. Vladdy, 192.
So that's why Vladdy's not hitting 500 anymore.
Yes, 192 will do that. Matt Chapman, 190 over the last 6 games. Brandon Belt had a career week in Toronto, hitting 167. So his numbers are up, which is Nice to see. We'll talk Brandon Belt in a bit.
Yes.
Espinal 143, Biggio 125, Dalton Varsho 087 and 23 at bats. Varsho's really cooled off. I am grateful that he had a good start, because if we hadn't seen any signs of positive productivity out of his bat, if he was hitting what Brandon Belt is hitting right now, there'd be a lot more panic.
In panic, yeah.
Right.
And listen, Varsho's still getting his hits here and there. I mean, he did get that big double yesterday. So Varsho is what he is. I think we're going to basically settle into Dalton being a 260 average, showing some power here and there, some incredible base running. He's going to give us reasons to cheer.
He's got a platinum glove and a pewter bat.
And as we're speaking these stats where you're looking at the decline with the bats, I mean, the only stat you really need to look at last night, runners in scoring position. The Blue Jays,
been a tail of the tape all year, it feels like.
Truly.
Last
the
night
Blue Jays were
0
for 4. The Astros, Adam, 4 for 5. 0 for 4 for the Jays, 4 for 5 for the Astros. That's the difference.
That's the difference. Yeah, World Series pedigree right there.
So this does get into the bullpen here nicely, unless you had anything else to kind of touch on before we move on from that game last night.
No, let's move on to the bullpen. We do have the off day today. You mentioned Yankees for 3 in New York, and then we have the White Sox. So that's our next week ahead. Tomorrow we'll have a full week preview.
Week 3 preview,
week
if
3
you will.
Preview.
Yes.
Week 4. I don't know what week we're on at this point.
Yeah, maybe it is week 4.
Next week's preview. I think it's week 4. Week 4 preview tomorrow. So catch that. 3 studs and a dud and a week 4 preview on tomorrow's episode